So there we are, we're recording. So Julia, thank you so much for agreeing to allow me to video a conversation between us. And the reason we're chatting is I've asked if it's possible to have some feedback about your experience of adventurous coaching, working with myself. And because the feedback I get from people is so invaluable to me. I learn an awful lot from people who I get the privilege to coach, and it really, really helps me to learn more and to know what to do more of and to know what to do less of. And so thank you very much. Lovely to have you.
It's my pleasure.
So tell us a wee bit about you, Julia, and a little bit about what matters to you.
So I'm Julia, and I am a coach. I've now been a coach for about 5 or 6 years with my own business, and I have quite a busy practice, which I juggle a lot with working from home with my children who are still school age. So what's important for me is to be able to give everything to my clients while staying sane and being a half decent mother.
Wow, there's a challenge. And you know, I think just for people running businesses, that's a challenging role. It's an exciting role. You've learned a lot along the way about it, and then just when you know what you're doing and you've really mastered just what's right for you around, you know, how you do things well, boundaries, and how you manage things, a pandemic hits. Just to spice things up a little bit. And so you've had to almost relearn a new way. A lot of people have, haven't they? A new way of working and living and being and adjusting. So yeah, well done. Well done.
It's
so thank
hard to homeschool with running a business, because you do find yourself get pulled in very different directions of the needs of my children, and then what you feel you should be doing, and then the needs of your business and what you need to do for your clients. So it's been a challenging time. That's
incredible. Well done. Well done for getting through that. And you know, I know you continue to be really busy with your business, and your kids are doing really, really well. So well done you. Well done you. So you know, we've been kind of coaching, and we sort of combine coaching and supervision for each other. And so when we, you know, when I'm in the coach stroke supervisor role, help supporting you, what do you feel are the challenges that we solve, or perhaps what needs do I provide for you?
Well, how long have you got? Because in some ways I just don't know where to begin. There's so much. There's helping me understand myself more. So if I think back to a very recent session where something had pushed my buttons hugely and I had no idea why I was triggered so much, and we were actually able to pull it apart and go, right, okay, why is this bothering me so much? What do I want to do about it? So there's a level of helping me understand myself and understand my reactions, which I think in the past I would have got carried away with on a tsunami of panic, getting cross about things, just being caught up in the moment. And actually I've been able to step back and go, right, okay, what's going on for me here? Being at the cause and not I was very much at the effect of what had happened. And we were able to pull it apart and go, right, okay, where do I want to be in this? And that's helped hugely. It's helped hugely in terms of, I know there've been times before when I've been really bothered about things and you've been like, right, okay, well, let's look at your values. What values aren't you looking at? And there was one very memorable time when I was spiraling out of control, and we identified that actually what was going on was I was paying way too much attention to one of my values, so achievement. I was completely focused on that. And the rest of my life, the rest of the things that were important to me, weren't getting a look in. So that was really helpful for me to be able to say, right, okay, I don't just need to pay attention to my values. I need to make sure that I'm not over focusing on one at the expense of others. Other stuff we've worked on, again, boundaries are huge. You do this kind, I mean, you know this as well as I do, you do this kind of job, you give and you get, and some people are great and respectful of that, and then some people might push boundaries. And it's helping work out, okay, when can I say no? When do I feel okay to say no? When is the right time for me to go, okay, yes, I will give a bit more here. Yes, I will say no. So that's been hugely helpful. That's helped my, you know, my resilience and my mental fitness hugely, because it stopped things going spiraling out of control for me.
Well, that's incredibly helpful to hear. It's really purposeful to sometimes just stop and think about what is shifting and changing as you work on yourself. And coaching is one of those lovely things. It's so simple yet so powerful. And it's two things. It's a conversation with a purpose. It's nothing cleverer than that, yet it's also incredibly clever because it helps you uncover more awareness. It helps you learn and understand yourself better, and it helps you, and because of that, you uncover more possibilities.
Definitely.
And, you know, the things you talked about, I like to remind people that I'm coaching, that a lot of the things that people bring to coaching are things that I'm also working on, because as coaches, the coach needs a coach.
Oh, I could not agree more.
Because in a lot of scenarios, people who are really good at something, perhaps neglect that in their own life. And there's a saying that, you know, the mechanic's car's never fixed. And it's very, very easy. It would be very easy for us as coaches to be supporting other people with their own development, and to have high vibe, you know, personal development going on in their own lives and not ourselves. So I guess what you're talking about is investing in yourself so you can invest really well in your business.
Absolutely.
You talked a lot about boundaries. You talked about building your awareness, about how you sort of can respond rather than react. I think you were talking about energy leadership, weren't you? That idea that you can actually work out what level of energy you operate at and shift it. You know, that's really incredibly helpful feedback for me. So I really appreciate that, because what we're talking about as business owners, you know, I guess we're coaches, but we're also entrepreneurs. You're an entrepreneur, and you're you know, building a really successful global business, and it's so important that you are mentally fit, whilst you help other people have that too.
Absolutely, because you don't know what you're going to be dealing with. You could be dealing with somebody who is very focused and very goal orientated and is operating at quite a high level of energy, and then the next person you could see could have just had a horrendous relationship breakup and is not functioning particularly well. And you need to be strong enough to be able to support, to meet both of those people where they are.
And that's right. People come to coaching and you just don't really always know what you're going to get, and you just have to be prepared in that moment to work with whatever is unpacked and laid out in front of you. So, you know, it takes being really adaptable and versatile to be able to do that. So that's great. What solutions or results do you think that coaching with me's created for you then?
I'm a lot happier. I mean, that's the bottom line. I'm a lot happier because, for loads of reasons, I know that I have somewhere where I can bring something. So, for example, the thing that we talked about in the last session that had really triggered me. Once I'd sort of like got past my I'm so cross about this, I was like, actually, I need to talk to Polly, because once I've spoken to Polly, I won't be so cross because I'll know what's going on. So I know that I have somewhere to take things that I need to bounce around and to work out. Again, my relationships are better because I've identified which are the relationships that are good for me, which are the relationships that nurture me, that nourish me, that lift me up, which are the ones that kind of need a bit of careful management. You know, how do I need to be in this relationship for both of us to get what we need out of it? I'm also quite aware that I'm a role model for my children in terms of relationships, and I want to show them how to manage relationships successfully. So my relationships have definitely improved. My friendships have improved. The people that I choose to be friends with now are fantastic people. The quality of my friendships is better. My business works really well for me because as coaches, we all have different business models, and you can get very tied up in, oh, well, this person's doing this, so maybe I should be doing this. And actually, I don't feel the need to do what somebody else does because that might not work for me. So my business model works well for me, and I feel quite secure.
That's fantastic. And staying really on purpose with what you're doing, and not spending your time looking at what everybody else is doing. and feeling that you should be doing the same. What's it they say, comparison is a thief of joy. And so, you know, just being really clear about what your values are for your business and who you want to be in your world of coaching is fantastic. You talked about a lot of things. You talked about attending to your own well-being, your own sort of emotional resilience. And you talked about, you know, sort of, I guess you talked about the mindset that you need to go forward with that. You talked about, you know, the actions that you want to take, not getting worried about other people's actions. So being clear about how you want to create success. I heard you talking a lot about like your team and the power of the choice that we have to choose the right people around us to support us. You talked about a lot of stuff there. So thank you for that. So why did you choose to work with me?
Because you hear what I'm saying. That's so important. That actually for me is the underlying thing. I can talk to you and I can talk. And there'll be this huge jumble of, and then this, and then that, and then, and I'll like literally dump it all on the table, and you will come out with like, so what you're bothered about is this. And I'm like, oh, yes. Yeah, that's it. I remember one, I was really cross after a meeting or something that I'd done, and I couldn't put my finger on it, and it was really bothering me. And you said, well, the reason that you're upset, Julia, is because you feel de-skilled. And it was such a mind-blowing moment for me that I hadn't even considered that was what was going on. But you heard everything I said. And that's really stayed with me, because then now when I feel that same thing, I'm like, is this what's going on? That's fantastic. So for me, that's the biggest thing, is you hear what I say.
Oh, that's lovely. And it's quite a skill, isn't it? Listening, and that's been said to me before. And I think a good coach does that, don't they? We're listening more than we're talking. And I haven't experienced coaching myself, because we know the coaching is a coach. I often find that coaching is a space to verbally process and unpack a whole load of things, and then work out what's important, and then untangle the knots and remove the red herrings, and just focus on what you drilling it down to what's really important. And I think that's it's a great way to shift things along, isn't it? So no, I really appreciate that. Thank you for that advice, that feedback. Now let me think, what else did I want to ask you? So I was going to ask you something about what was your experience of working with me, or the process or the transformation that we had, or what you feel about that. So if there's anything that you want to answer around that, so your experience of working with me.
It's a very safe feeling. I feel that I can tell you absolutely anything, and I have. That there are things that I've told you that I wouldn't tell very many other people. But I know that that's safe. And that's really important to me. The stuff, or even, the worries that I have about my business, and there are sometimes when, we both know what it's like being small business owners, where some days you feel like you're on top of the world, and other days you think, where's my next client coming from? What am I doing? And we can have quite irrational fears at times.
Absolutely.
And it's the safe place that you offer, where I can talk about stuff, and I know you're not going to say, you're being ridiculous, Julia. Because like I said, you will hear what I'm saying.
That's really
so important.
Thank you. It's important, isn't it? It's vital, because that's where you have, when you have that kind of trust, then you can say whatever needs to be said, and then leave it behind. And park up what you don't need. So that's fabulous. And finally, just how has life changed because we've worked together? What's changed?
I'm a lot calmer. I'm a lot more in control. I don't let things get on top of me. I guess it's like you said, I'm much more resilient from the conversations that we've had. Because sometimes I'll either think, right, I want to talk to Polly about this, or it's like I'll have you at the back of my mind, and you'll be saying, Julia, remember this, or this might be something that's going on for you. So life has changed that way. I'm much more at the cause of things, not so much at the effect. And I manage I manage my emotions around other people's behaviour, and I respond as opposed to reacting now.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And I'm much more in control.
That's fabulous. And that's that's invaluable, isn't it? We can't control everything in life, but it's about working out what's in your control. And giving your attention to that. It's really, really, really valuable, really, really important. So no, fabulous and valuable feedback. Really, really appreciate it. It's wonderful to work together. So the pleasure of both ways, and to have this feedback is just absolutely fabulous.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I am happy to recommend you left, right and centre, all over the place.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much, Julia, and I will speak again.
Talk to you soon.
Bye now.